What's up everybody, my name is Aaron Oxley, I'm a technical sales specialist, and in this video we'll be looking at layout editing in Geocortex Web. So layouts are how you control the overall look and feel of an application, the positioning of all the different components within your app. And in Geocortex Web, you have almost unlimited control. There's a lot of options, so let's take a look at some of the different ways that you can edit a layout in Geocortex Web. Okay, so when we first open Geocortex Web, we have a bunch of templates available, and each of these comes with at least one layout, even blank. Now let's pick blank to start from scratch. Now first I will save my app, and we can call it Editing Layouts in Geocortex Web. Now, here we are with an empty layout. We can see nothing in the components list, and easy way to get started, add component. Now, we have three categories. The first one, map. Everything here has to do with the map. It's probably going to be a part of the map. Under layout, these are the container components. So they're very important when we're editing layouts because they can contain other components. They're kind of like the frame of a house. They provide all the structure for our layout. The last tab, other. Some of these are used for displaying data. Some give users access to functionality. Today, though, we're going to focus on the layout components. So columns, this allows components to exist side by side, horizontally. Dialog is a pop-up. Expand is a really minimal container. It just shows up as an icon, and when a user clicks it, it expands to show the contained component. Panels, these containers can be manipulated. They can have buttons like minimize, maximize, close, and back, and they're often used with workflows. Rows, this allows components to sit above and below each other, vertically oriented. And lastly, tabs, pretty self-explanatory. It's a set of tabs. So to add components, we just drag and drop them from this list into the components list. Generally, the first thing that gets added to an app is a map. Now, by default, this map is just the world topo map, so we don't have any layers. Let's switch the map. If I just click on it, I get taken into configuration. I can select a different web map. This one should have some functional feature layers for us. Yeah, it looks good. But it doesn't really look like an app yet. It's just a map. So why don't we give a toolbar with some basic tools, maybe up across the top. Now, from a structural standpoint, I want this to sit above the map. So I'll use a rows component to set that up. I'll just drag this rows to the top of my app, and then I'll come to the other tab, grab a toolbar, and drag that right onto my rows. We can see that take effect right away, but my toolbar is empty. So let's add some tools. If I click on the toolbar, I can add menu item. Let's add the add layer tool. Let's come back and add the draw tool. And maybe one more, identify. That's a popular tool. Maybe I know it's going to be my most popular tool, so I can actually shuffle these really easily. I just hit edit items, drag the one I want up to the top, and because it's the first one in this list, it's now the first one over here as well. I'll say done on that one, and we can come back to our main components list. Now, I haven't added my map to my rows yet, so let's do that. I'll just drag it up into my rows. And now we can see them stacked, but the toolbar is below the map, so I'll just drag it up above. And now it's up top. Now, next up, I'm thinking I probably need some space for my users to view data. So let's grab a tabs and drag that over here. But I can't just have my tabs and my rows. In order for those to live side by side, I need them to sit in a set of columns. So I'll drag that there. I'll drag my tabs into my columns. I'll drag my rows into my columns. Now the tabs are below. If I drag them up, that moves them to the first spot. Columns work from left to right. Now, if I go into tabs, we can see a bunch of different configuration options, but really what we need to do is add some other components to our tabs. Let's start out with a results list. I'll drag that into there. And that is huge. By default, Geocortex Web gives each component equal space to start. So let's deal with that first. If I come up to my columns, I can see the nested sizing here. And let's set the tabs width to 25%. That looks about right to me. Now, if I do an identify and just select some of these buildings, I get results in my list. Excellent. Now, if I click on one of these, I would like to get some details. So let's drop a results details component into our application. And I'll drop that onto my tabs. There we go. Now, if I come back to results list and select one of these, the results details panel will populate with all of this great information about the feature that I selected from the list. Now, I would like to close this though. I don't necessarily want to have this tab open all the time. So let's use a panel to do that. I'll drag a panel into my tabs, and then I'll drag result details into the panel. Now we can see the minimize, maximize, and close buttons. Minimize and maximize are probably not going to be super useful for my users, so I'll turn those ones off. And I might just call my panel details so that the tab has a more appropriate title. And I'd also like details to be the second tab, so let's drag results list up. There we go. Starting to look how I want it to look. Now, just to show how flexible Geocortex Web is and how easy it is to change things up, let's say I want these tabs on the other side of my app, over here. I can really easily just move the things around within my columns. I'll grab rows, put it up here. Now it's the rows and then the tabs. Or maybe I want my tabs across the bottom. If I select one of these, I've got these two tabs. I want them down here so that I get more screen width for my map. I can take these tabs, and if we think about how the rows work, toolbar map, let's drag the tabs into there. And it did the right thing. They're just at the top. So let's drag our map up above our tabs. Let's drag our toolbar up above our map. Now that's looking about right. Really easy to move things around and get them looking the way that we want in Geocortex Web. Now, a couple other layout components that I want to show. Let's start out by adding a base map picker to our map. We can see it here. I can also move it around. If I can just pick the slot top left and it goes over there. But it's taken up a fair amount of screen space and it's just overlaying my map. So I'd actually like to tuck that away a bit. I'm going to add an expand component to my map. I'm going to put that in the top left slot. And I'm going to put my base map picker into the expand. Now we have this one here, tucked away, pop it open, pick our base map. When we get the one we want, we close it away by clicking on that expand badge again. Now, the last layout component that we haven't looked at is Dialog. It's basically a pop-up box. So what I might do is actually replace this base map picker and the expand component with a Dialog. So if we drag Dialog over and drop that into our components list, then in the Dialog, we need to decide what information we want. Let's go with the base map picker. And here we have a pop-up. We see the back gets grayed out and we can pick our base map. We see that take effect back in the application. Perfect. Let's close that one out. So this is a pretty long tech tip already, so I think I'll wrap it up here. To put it in a nutshell though, layouts in Geocortex Web, super flexible, easy to configure, and hopefully this video gives you a feel for what's possible. The idea is really that you can give your users an inviting experience that caters to their needs. Sometimes the look and feel of an app can make all the difference. Anyway, that's layout editing in Geocortex Web. If you want to know more, just let us know. Email info@geocortex.com. And if this video was helpful for you, please like, share, subscribe, and check out our other videos. Thanks for watching.